Yeah, hello everyone. Bill.
Really?
What's up, Clint? Hey everyone, and welcome back to Car Stereo Talk with me, Dean, and him.
Yo, aquí. Yeah, you know what I mean. What's up, Bill?
What's up from snowy Tennessee? Kentucky's What's Poppin', Mr. Vega?
I want to go to Tennessee.
You want to go to Tennessee?
Yes.
Tennessee? You're supposed to say Tennessee.
See.
We got new chairs, so no more creaking. We accomplished one thing this whole time off. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really get anything done that I wanted to get done. I didn't do a damn thing.
No?
No, I saw how the other half lived. It's
Showing
been
you.
so long since I just went home and did nothing.
Hey, that works too.
Caught up on a bunch of TV that I could care less about and don't remember what I saw. So, hey, from Kentucky, Boston.
Mr. Clint, what's up, man?
I'm sorry, South Carolina. For the soapbox, is it better to have a common chamber or separate? I prefer separate if there's enough airspace. So,
You're funky.
chill time is best. No, it was good. So, just to do a quick recap. Obviously, we had a joyous time with the. Jeez, I don't know. Oh,
With
sorry.
that
I gotta concentrate. It's been I'm rusty at this point. It's been so long since I've had to multitask and talk to a camera at the same time. So we had a great time doing the 12 Days of Christmas.
Yeah.
Hopefully everyone. I've been getting emails every day saying that people have gotten their stuff. So
That's awesome.
that's pretty spectacular.
And if you haven't get it,
just be patient.
Just be patient.
Just be
Exactly.
patient for sure, because stuff's taking a little bit longer than it should. Cincinnati in the house, Chicago. So Christmas to me is a big family time. So being able to spend that time with the family and do all that, and then taking that extra. Normally we just take the 2 weeks, but having that extra week I thought was right on point.
Yeah.
And last week we tried to not do anything socially related, and it was. Let me tell you what, not going on Instagram every day was probably the hardest thing.
Really?
Yeah, because I'm just so used to that middle of the day getting to go on to and just talk about what's happening in the Bay and fill everyone up. One other thing too, I'm gonna.
What's that, John?
We've been trying. Don't get me wrong. In that downtime, we were here working, but we tried to think of things that we want to do differently for 2021. The podcast always pops up as far as providing the Patreons with a podcast. We have been talking about it. It's probably something that is going to happen this year. Maybe we're still not guaranteeing it's going to happen. If it does happen, though, it is going to be for Patreons only. It
has to be.
Because it was just so much of a pain to do it both ways and the video. So if it does happen, it'll just be for Patreons. But don't get too excited yet, because we're not sure if we're going to do it. Part of the problem with it, that as it went on, was creating content for it, having something to talk about. So we don't know what we're going to do yet, but we want to do something along those lines. So hopefully by February we'll figure that out. Also, another thing too that I've went back and I noticed that when we did the Instagram recap show on Monday, there was a lot of views for it, and there was a lot of great information that just gets put on Instagram, and a lot of people don't get to watch it. And even though that show was that show was an hour long, and it was the crappiest aspect ratio known to man, it was still a show that had tons of content in it. So my plan is to bring that back on Mondays, just do the Instagram recap video, because it's great that now Instagram has Instagram TV. But it sucks to search. So we'll do our best as far as what we can there, but we'll bring that back on Mondays just to fill in that show and see what's happening. We'll see how long that lasts.
Do you know what size is a 2018 Dodge Charger SVT?
6x9s.
6x9s, yes.
6x9s and 3.5s. 6x9s, 3.5s always. So it hasn't changed. You're good there.
Hey, Dean.
Hey, me.
If you have a 4-channel amplifier and it's fused through a distribution block, and you pull the fuse for the amp, will you lose sound altogether?
You know the answer to that.
All right.
I'm sorry, I got excited about, Can you do a 2021 Jeep with a Macintosh system? Did you see the pictures of that?
No.
You didn't see the pictures of the Macintosh? No, a 2021 Jeep Grand Cherokee has a Macintosh system in it now. Remember how we talked about Alpine?
I watched a whole video of that. Somebody did a review of the whole thing. And
It's great. I like the fact that you can have the VU meters in the dash. That's almost enough to want to buy a Grand Cherokee.
It's nice because in the outside of the car it has a LED that says Macintosh.
Oh, does it? Oh, that's cool. Yeah. But the Mr. Tommy chilling out in Dallas getting snowed on. One of the things that everyone Wagoneer was they're like who's making it for them? It was Alpine. Alpine. I mean, like it was all over the news that Alpine was going to be making it. So, yeah.
The Wagoneer. Yeah, exactly. It's
$100,000.
Oh yes. Oh yeah.
Damn.
It's insane.
So, anyways, to answer the question as far as what can be done with it, it's who knows. I don't think there's even one in the wild yet, and if there is, I'm pretty sure they're not going to be upgrading the stereo in it for a while. The whole reason why you're buying that is because it has Macintosh stereo in it. I understand that, like, when you buy something that has Mark Levinson and Boston Acoustic and Beats by Dre and all that, but let's be honest, when you're talking about a $35,000 to $40,000 car, changing the radio on that, Mr. Elias, look at that. Congratulations, my friend. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Jeff Smith's in the house.
Jeff.
Johnny Brolin, Maestro compatible. I mean, I suppose it might as well be, but who knows? We'll see what's going to happen. And, there again, we'll take that one by ear. I'm sure someone will get in there. I mean, because, let's be honest, the Brewmeister system, for those, a lot of people don't like that. So it's just going to depend. I don't think Macintosh coming into the game is going to change much. I feel like it's just going to be a really cool, that guy that has that thing is just going to be like, oh, I got to have it. I'm like, there you go. You can have it now. So
I need a box for 212s in a 2004 Ram 1500.
2004?
Uh-huh.
Ooh. So that's the Camelback.
I was not even born in that year.
Yeah, you were. Shut up. I mean, there's a bunch of people that make those. A-Trend, Foxbox has one. Fox Acoustics, as it were.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're shipping yet. But yeah, there's plenty of them out there. I don't think any one is better than the other. So,
Card to card, you own me a race.
Bought a Helix DSP. Who do I owe a race to?
You to Jason.
Pat is going to lose a race to go. No. What year were you born, Fernando? Do you know? Do you know? Do you remember?
Last year. No, 84, man. 84.
Oh God, I don't remember that year.
Really?
Come on, really?
All right, so that was a huge. I forgot. Never mind. Just keep going.
What the heck was that? Before we get too deep down the rabbit hole, for those of you that don't follow us on the 12 Volt Clean Wire Club, it's a big surprise. Some people didn't know that was our page. Every weekend, Fernando scours that page and comes up with a picture. This week's picture is brought to us by, do you know?
Yes, Robert Stagner.
Robert has what looks like a dash mod here.
It's actually he does racing cars and all that stuff. So it looks really nice.
I love it. I think it looks spectacular.
Like all the wire you see is like all red goes like that, and then all the purple, and it's really cool, man. So,
looks nice. I like it for sure. Definitely winner of the Clean Wire Club. Rooster. So we did change a couple of the things. If you hadn't been following along there, we did change a couple of things. Now all the posts have to be approved by an admin because I'm a pretentious person, apparently a pretentious prick, according to some young kid that is no longer a member of the page. But we changed some stuff around to make it better for everyone that was involved. This was a experiment that we started back in April or May, and here it is. January, there's 50,000 members, was way bigger than we thought it was going to. We shot for the drive when we landed on the moon, or Saturn at this point.
52,000.
So, it's growing. Wow, thanks, guys. So what we've done is we've listened to what everyone said, and the things that we liked, we've changed. and the things that we didn't like, we obviously didn't implement. But it's one of those things that we keep a close eye on it. Both Fernando and Clint keep a pretty tighter eye on it than I do. I'm not gonna lie. But I did spend some time on it over the holidays, and that's what I was like. Okay, let's fix this. Let's do this. Let's do a bunch of changes. We've expanded what we considered clean wire. So now, if you're one of those guys that has an amp and you have 3 inches or so of wire and it goes into the amp board, like we're now accepting those pictures. However, if you just have an amp mounted and no wiring at all, it's very pretty, but no. You got to have wire. There's got to be some kind of wire. And anyways, that's a whole nother thing there.
What's up, Christopher Reyes?
Any experience with B2 audio? We did one car with the 6-channel and was it the monoblock? What? Yeah, we did the 6-channel B2 audio, and that was all we've done so far with them.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, so last year we did the monoblock. Yes, the monoblock on the Chevy 2020.
So very little.
Yeah, it's just not like.
Yeah. Steve apparently likes it though, so you can head over to Steve Mead, check out what he's talked about.
Yeah.
I know he's probably tested some of those.
Right,
There's
2020.
No more dog enthusiast videos on the page anymore. No, there's nothing that gets through that. There's no random posts. So it just got to play the cat and mouse game where there was a certain group of people that were trying to put silly videos up on there, and it was just a waste. So.
All right, 2020 Civic. 10 speakers, EM608, going active with Mili Pros. You have mentioned the crossovers is high and it should set the minimum crossover at 5,000.
That was for Focal.
Okay.
Go on.
I'm having trouble setting the gains. I tried the RTA meth 2K and Eclipse at 3 dB. Input gain. It sounds hollow. If I set it to the max, sounds great, but the max light comes on no matter what frequency I use for the tweeters. The max light doesn't come on. I also able to have the front mids wired correctly, but when I use the polarity tester, the green light doesn't match the tweeters and other factory speakers and the other rear speakers.
All right, so the big question would be, how did you integrate into it? Would be the first question I'd ask. If you're using a DM608, if you just grabbed, on that particular car, you need a minimum of the front tweeters, the front mid-bass, center, and sub. However, Metra makes a Amp Pro for that car now that integrates their DSP, but you can use it as a preamp. You don't actually have to use their DSP, so piggybacking it into a DM608 is a really good idea. If you tried to sum the tweeters into the mid-bass, that would be problem number 1 because you can't do that. It doesn't work. There's all-pass filters in there and time alignment that when you combine the two, you'll see there's a giant chasm of holes. As far as the polarity goes, the polarity pop typically happens around where that all-pass filter is. So sometimes you'll get a shift. But right out from the factory, the tweeters and the mid-bass are backwards because it's a 12 dB crossover at the same frequency. So they're wired 180 degrees out of phase so that you don't have the dip in the crossover point that would be caused by that. So there's a lot of things. If anytime we would do one of those systems pre the Metra harness, the tweeters would be on their own amp, the mid-range would be on their own amp, and we would leave time alignment off. Or be very careful with it because you're going to have issues. But no summing can be done and make it sound successful. You will have a big hollow sound because all those frequencies have just disappeared. So,
I'm sorry. All right, Justin, if you actually want to make an appointment, please call Paul. He will make you an appointment. We don't have nothing to do with that, so you just got to call Paul.
I have a 2018 Silverado double cab with a Bose amp. I will be installing 3 amplifiers. My question is, will I be using the audio control DM810? I will be tapping in and out of my current Bose amp and signal into the DSP with a T-harness. Will I still need an Amp Pro to retain all my chimes, including navigation, Bluetooth? Yes! The 2018 Silverado is definitely something you want to use an Amp Pro for, and I would, yes, you definitely want to use an Amp Pro. There again, it's the same problem that you'd run into with the Honda. Yeah, So anytime there's an, okay, so real quick, just to kind of refresh everyone's memory. Wrong picture, hold on, sorry. There we go, right picture. pack-audio.com, maestro-audiolink.com, metroonline.com, navtv.com, and mobridge.us. Take a screenshot right now. These are the 5 places that anytime you're getting ready to upgrade your system in your car, you need to visit first. You need to find out if any one of these guys make an interface for your car. If you're planning on just adding a subwoofer, fine, that's okay, it's not a big deal. But if you're gonna be doing some serious, like, all that fun into the car, not the best idea to, I mean, if you're just trying to go speaker for speaker, which you can do, because if they don't make any interface for that, then you do what's called speaker for speaker or power for power. Meaning, if it's a 10-channel amplifier, you put a 10-channel amplifier in. You don't try to do summing. You don't try to do any of that stuff, because there are things that they've done from the factory that if you don't have an RTA and can look at every single thing along the way, you're going to definitely wish you hadn't updated it. It's going to sound 10 times worse. So you have to be careful, and I don't mean careful and it's like, oh, it's going to catch on fire. I mean careful in the fact that you're trying to improve the way the car sounds. If you're doing it wrong, you're not going to accomplish that, no matter what cool equipment you have. So yes.
All right. Do you have to go to school for you guys to start in your business?
I mean, you can. I mean, obviously, college is a wonderful thing. You know, learning, you know, if you want to own a business, taking some general business classes wouldn't be a bad idea. You know, there's plenty of community colleges out there that will help you become that, as well as there's tons of online stuff that you can sign up for.
Right.
As far as learning
Audio.
how to do this side of it in the install bay, obviously watching the thousands of videos we have, Install Diaries is a really good place to start. As well as the MECP, which is the de facto study guide, as it were, for learning about car audio. You have basic, advanced, and master.
Also, they have like classes. You know, of course, right now for the pandemic and everything, they haven't done nothing like that. But like Mobile Solution does classes.
Mobile Solutions has classes. That's to learn how to do more fabrication. You can go to Educar. What is it? Educar. Hold on.
That's awesome.
Anyways, you go to mecar.teachable.com. You can learn some Ken Ward stuff about DSPs and stuff
integration
like that.
stuff. Yeah.
So there's a lot of different places you can go online and learn.
You can go ADA.
Don't call ADA. The guys have more values than the test. The guys are exceptional, and we will be talking. I can't even mention it. Sorry, I told him I wouldn't. But stay tuned on that one. We have some stuff to talk about there. Hopefully next month. I need to get together and kick it, man. Oh, we need to get together and kick it, man.
All right.
Yeah.
Jason says, "Do you update the DMX 4707S yet? If you're not, don't."
I don't have a 57, but no, I have not updated anything on the 57. They just came out with the update. I usually wait, I'm not going to lie. If it ain't broken, I don't try to fix it, so there's nothing that mine is doing that would cause me to do an update. Is it 25 watts by 8s on the PXE put out useful for anything? Yeah, actually, I'm running my whole system off of it. The question they're asking is the PXE 0850S. I'm using that to run my whole system, believe it or not. Fronts, rears, center, sub, the whole kit and caboodle. Granted, my subs are the factory 6x9 inch subwoofers located in the rear deck, but yeah, it's powering everything. When we were doing Hondas, like the Civic we talked about a couple minutes ago, that was the DSP I would go with. The reason why I would use that DSP is that I could use that DSP to power up the center channel and also the rear speakers. In that 10-speaker stereo system, the rear speakers sometimes are components. So we would use one channel to power the center channel, and then we'd use 4 of the active channels to power the rear. And then you'd still have, it's a 10 channel DSP? 12 channel DSP?
Which one?
The 08?
It's 10 channels.
10 channels. You have 10 channels, so I mean, you can do anything you want with it.
Yep.
So it's pretty nice, but that's what we would use. A lot of big questions tonight. A lot of words.
Well,
Slow
they've
down
been
on the
waiting
words.
for, you know.
Okay.
Like, all right.
Okay, go.
All right. I have a 2018 Silverado double cab with the Bose system. I will be installing 3 amplifiers.
I already answered that. We covered that one.
Okay.
All right, hold on. I'm pissed tonight. I was working. Find something else. I was working on my wiring amp rack in my F-150, and oh geez, and moved it off the table saw. Oh, this is gonna end bad. That I was working on, so I could cut a piece of ABS and make the bracket to hold the battery down. I set it on the floor, but out of the way, forgot about the separates in the corner and broke off. Extended tab where oh, that sucks. Where I would mount the back to the wall. Dude, an ABS is so expensive too. That's a shame. I hate it when that happens. I hate it too, like when the table saw will bite and kind of, just like, damn it. But yeah, you got to be careful with these tools. Trust me, I was not careful with them, and that's why my pointer fingers don't work the way they're supposed to. So, you know, it hurts. Your thoughts on Jensen? Honestly, you know, I got nothing. It's not good, bad, or indifferent. I just got nothing. We were talking about this the other day when it comes to these new head units. There's too many of them anymore that I can't keep up with. There's, back when we just do the unboxings for radios, that was like the thing. We would spend a lot of time figuring out all the ins and outs of these head units. And then we started to notice that they really didn't change much over the years, and there wasn't anything new happening. And then it just got to the point to where head units weren't that big of a deal. Everyone wanted to know more about DSPs and amplifiers and speakers and all the other stuff. So I haven't spent a lot of time on anybody's head unit. The basic thing is if it ticks all the boxes, meaning its price, features, performance, if it's falling into the realm of what you want it to do, what I would suggest is, even if it's an amplifier, this falls in the category of anything. Mm-hmm. Look to see what's $100 more, and look to see what's $150 more, and what you're getting. Because really, let's say you're spending $350 on a radio. Okay. At $450, that takes you into a whole different radio. Yes. Whole different radio. Yeah. At $550, now you're crazy. However, you might not be able to swing up to $550. So you kind of have to figure out, when you go from a $350 radio to a $450 radio, you're probably getting audio-grade components in there to make it sound better.
Apple CarPlay.
Well, I mean, CarPlay, they probably both have CarPlay at that price point anymore. But you're getting into a much nicer unit. Mm-hmm.
How do I bypass a Rockford system in the Frontier?
Go to our video where we do the Titan 911 video.
So just type Titan 911 video, and this is the same
same process.
Same process, exactly. You just gotta follow and find your T-harnesses if you can find them.
I think we even list them in the video. Lance Doss, the boss, is in the house. What is up, my friend? How is everything in old California? How do the Kenwood Exelon 6.5s compare to the Morel Maximo 6.5s? I was thinking about changing my Maximos for something different. Well, again, that kind of falls in what I said when you're looking at what would $100 more get me. Maximos are a phenomenal speaker, and I don't. If you like the way the Morels sound, obviously think about maybe upgrading to a better Morel. If you're liking that price point, because that's a lateral move, going from those to the Exelon, you're not gaining anything more. You're literally just going to going from one room to the next on the same floor. Right. Going up in price. Now, if you want something that just sounds totally different, I like the Morels, but I want a brighter tweeter or something like that, not the Exelons. I would look something with a metal tweeter, like maybe a set of Access or a set of the integration line from Focal. Something to think about.
All right. What would I use for a 2011 4H with a sync and 4 speakers? Sync and just 4 speakers. Tap into the speakers out or look for a pre-out. Going to run Helix DSP. Thank you for any help.
What kind of car was it?
2011 4H.
2011 Ford Edge. Isn't that what Haley has? Or hers is an 18.
Yeah.
Does it,
older is the same.
Does it have a premium system?
I don't think so. It has a sync. It's just a regular
Why
sync.
wouldn't you just get a new radio? I
Yeah.
mean, I get it. There again, tap into the front speakers. You're golden. The rears are going to be actively crossed over a little bit, so if you don't need them, like if you're not worried about doing balance and fader, just grab the front two speakers and go into your Helix and call it a day. Best head unit value is head unit is the high 10.
What happened to Frostbite?
Frostbite, so it's a sad story. As everyone knows, there's this pandemic going around, COVID, and it kind of screwed up a lot of people last year. Hopefully we're on the, the positive, we're on the uptick for that now that there's a vaccine and all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
Anyways, so what had happened is in his state, they shut down drastically, and he applied for financial aid and wasn't approved for it. He was running a install shop just like this, as well as doing the Frostbite things, and he had a fairly big place, and he just wasn't turning enough revenue to keep the place open as well as build boxes. So, 20-year business, he had to shut the doors and sell all his, basically he went out of business. I just couldn't keep it up anymore, which totally sucked because, they had a really, really nice product. But that's what happened.
They're really nice.
Business died because of COVID.
Yeah.
Do you ship Access DSP to Canada? No, we don't. However, there is... all right, give me a minute. Carphonics, thank you.
Carphonics in Canada.
Ontario, Canada.
You probably have to call them. I don't know where you live, but...
Yeah, if anybody... So he is the Metro rep. Gavin is the Metro rep in Canada. So wherever you're at in Canada, if you give Carphonics a call, I mean, I'm sure that's not what he wants you to do, but give him a call anyways, because if he can't ship it to you, he'll have a dealer in your area to get it there.
I'm shocked that I remember that.
Gavin, I know. I was like, where did that come from?
Carphonics.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, I know.
You can call Ada. He will ship it to you.
Does Paul sell Helix? I need an M4 DSP.
No.
Paul does not. However, text Jeff Smith.
He's the dealer around here.
Text Jeff Smith. That's all I gotta say there.
Not kidding, right? All right, 2009 Lexus GS will add 3 amplifiers and a Helix DSP. Connecting DSP from the stock amp, anything I need to look for. Doesn't look like anyone makes any short or integration.
What car was it?
It's a 2009 Lexus GS.
Oh no, they don't make anything for that. 2009 Lexus. That's a tough one, man. I'm gonna tell you right now. There's nothing fun going on there. More than likely, what you're gonna have to do is go after the amplifier in that one. Some of those have variable voltage going into the amplifiers, but most of them are going to be a fixed level voltage into the amplifier. Now, what does that mean? Let's talk about that for a minute. It's a 2009, so it's a little bit older vehicle. It's 11 years old, 12 years old, whatever, 10 years old. Anyways, yeah, no, it's 12 years old. And fixed level into the amplifier means that when you turn up and down the volume, the amplifier's, the input going into it doesn't change. So there's a couple things you can do with that. Well, there's one is obviously go after the amplifier, and then your volume knob still does all that. But depending on what's coming over that signal, meaning if all your stuff, meaning your Bluetooth, if it has it, your navigation, if you use it, comes over those two signals, it's a full range signal going into that amplifier, meaning there's no equalization, there's no BS on it. If you're into like a DRC controller up front that has your system volume knob, and you're not worried about losing your steering wheel controls, you can tap into that signal with your DSP and use the DSP commander to control the volume on the system. So that's neat. You now will have to use that, but you don't have to worry about any integration, any BS. Now, if you decide to go after the amplifier, there again, what you want to do is do power for power, because there's going to be tons of funness in that, equalization, DSP, the whole 9 yards. So if you keep it power for power, meaning amp on tweeters, amp on mids, and just amplify the speakers that you're worried about, like for example, if you just want to update the front sound stage, add a subwoofer, maybe replace the rear speakers, just let them power off the factory amplifier. There's a lot of things you can do to make that car sound good without beating your head up against the wall. So, Do a short video on setting sub-amp gains with an epicenter. Just watch the epicenter video we have. It probably covers most of that.
Yeah, go down.
I'm going down.
All the way down.
All the way down?
That's it, right there. Go up a little bit.
Oh, it recycled. Who am I looking at? Give me the name.
Steve.
I don't see
Steve, right there.
Where? Oh, Steve at the top. Oh, Jesus. Hold on. Steve with... Okay. I've always dealt with Kicker for the majority of my career. Recently picked up Rockford Fosgate because they have better inventory with my distributor. How do the Prime and Punch lines compare to the Kicker, in your opinion? I mean, when you're looking at Prime and you look at the CS line, I feel... Because the Prime is the R2, so it's a brand new line. They have a lot of 4 channels, which I think is nice. Whereas Kicker, in my mind, has always failed at the 4-channel line. Like, even they just don't make enough 4 channels. They're small and they're not enjoyable. Whereas Rockford, it makes a lot of 4 channels. Like, they have the Prime 500x4. Yeah, that's awesome. Lots of power, 4 channels, good to go. We carry both, and the reason why we carry both is for application. So with the price point of the Prime and the price point of the yellow CS, the CS wires come out of the end, the Prime come out of the bottom. So it just comes down to installation. A lot of the times it's either how much power do I need or what am I doing for installation. Sound-wise, they're really similar as far as performance, as far as that goes. Now, Punch, compared to the KS, I would much rather have a KS. Only because most of those come with an epicenter, but there again, you get into the same. There's way more Punch amplifiers to choose from, as far as in that 4-channel range. That's where Kicker just kills me. But yeah, I guess that's the easiest way to think about it. As far as performance and value and all that fun stuff goes, they're the same. They put all they do a good job.
All right, 2017 F-150 with the Sony system. I'm thinking about installing the Kenwood Exelon BXR600 6 DSP.
Yeah.
That has the Maestro AR. Will this build be an easy plug and play? To like a power and sound quality. I want to keep all the factory bells and whistles and the...
Yeah, so that guy right there is the Kenwood 6-channel DSP amplifier. The reason why it's on the wall is because it is a Maestro product. This guy right here. It's AR compatible. So what you do is you'd buy this. You'd buy one of these, one of the A series. Where is it?
AR.
It's either an AFO2 or an AFO3. I don't remember which one it is. And those are going to go back at the amplifier. So you're literally going to pull your factory amplifier out. And this is going to go in its place, and it's going to plug in, and you're done. The only thing you have to do at that point is, it's only 6 channels, but all your chimes, backup sensors, warnings, lane departure, everything will go where it needs to go. So if you set it up to where you're just going to do front, rear, sub, just let's say like the factory, then yeah, everything's going to work the same way. So your beep, 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 all that stuff will all be there where it needs to go, but you're now going to just add all the DSP processor to it. But it's a 10-channel DSP, so it has 4 channels of output. What I would recommend in the F-150 is using channels 1 through 6 on this to power up your factory mids, or your mids and highs. So 1 and 2 on the tweeter, 3 and 4 on the mid bass, 5 and 6 on the rear doors, and then add a second amplifier to power a subwoofer, or maybe an amplified subwoofer, or something like that. You will have to run tweeter wires because your car doesn't have its own tweeter wires. Other than that, that's it. But yeah, no, it's a pretty straightforward installation. There again, we do this every day, so that may vary depending on your abilities. But yes, it is probably the most user-friendly. How about the speaker wire? What was Steve's question again? That was.
What about the speakers?
No, what was his original question? I forgot.
About Kicker and Rockford.
Oh, speaker wire. Ooh, they're both excellent.
Speaker wise.
About
speaker wise,
not wire wise. We do a lot of. We do a lot of T2s.
T2s.
As far as Punch goes, not a fan at all. Prime, awesome. Love the Prime. I would much rather do KS.
I mean,
over punch.
we always try to do T2s in the front, T1s in the rears.
Yeah, which they're not going to carry from a distributor because you have to be that's a power dealer only.
Yeah.
You know, they're okay. I don't like them.
Yeah.
Personal preference there again, and not that I hate them, and I will put them in a car because I know they do. It's got a very loud tweeter. I personally don't like the tonality of them, but that doesn't mean they're bad. They're built extremely well. So keep in mind when I say I don't like them, doesn't mean you don't have to like them. It just means, you know, and they're probably going to hate me for that, and I apologize. But I like the Primes. The Primes are phenomenal. I love the Prime. Nice thing about the Prime too is they have the center point technology on their mid-range and their coaxials. So you have the inset tweeter down at the dome. That's freaking awesome. God, that thing's... It's like Audison makes that in the Prima line, which is like, whoa, those are phenomenal. But that speaker, you need that sometimes in certain installations. So being able to offer it in the Prime line is really cool. Okay.
All right. 2011 Silverado. Customer wants to keep the OnStar and it currently works. Should I pull and reflash the Maestro anyways? Will it make a difference?
So yeah, you would have to pull and reflash the Maestro to have the OnStar turned on.
Yeah.
And then you're good to go there. You also have to make sure that you plugged in the Maestro has two cables, has the data cable and has the audio cable. You have to make sure that that audio cable is plugged in because that's where your OnStar audio is going to come over. So if it's a Kenwood unit, you have a dedicated port for that. If it's a Pioneer unit, the auxiliary is that dedicated port. So if you're using the aux for anything else on a Pioneer, you can't do that. You can, you just lose the aux. But yeah, reflash the module and you get it back.
I'm going to have you install my Stinger High 10. I'm going to add a subs at the same time and my F-150 power the Kicker Key 500. What sub should I go with? Comp RT10s or L7As? Ooh, which is better?
Answer that one.
Oh, I honestly, it's because I'm a fan of small drivers. I would L7.8s. I like the L7.8s.
Okay, well, there you go. Fernando cam. Someone asked if Sound Digital makes a small amplifier for 4-channel. And the answer would be yes. This guy right here is the 400.4. As you can see, here is my iPhone Max, whatever.
What's bigger?
I know, I caught it. But yeah, so you get an idea of how that size. Now this is the 800 by 1. This is the system we put in Fernando's car. If you want to see this in action, go check out the
Car
Stereo Labs. Jeez, I tell you, take a couple weeks off, look what happens. Go check out the Car Stereo Labs episode. And, oh, I already shut it off, sorry.
Dude, I was about to
I know, you're about to
really
get
nice.
the whole pan.
Yes.
You can learn more about the amplifiers there. We do a full unboxing and talk all about them. Okay.
That is right.
And that's why I wanted to keep that one together, because that's just so cool. Love these new chairs. How do you like the new chairs?
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah?
Yeah, it doesn't...
I know, they don't creak. I miss the things, because I'd like put my arms like this on them, but no, I like these new chairs. These are nice. Dean's so picky. Dean is extremely picky. I'm not gonna lie. My wife, you know, Sue and Haley, oh my God, I feel I show them as much pity as I can because, you know, hey, the joys of getting older is you get to be more picky. I mean, why not, right? I mean, there's nothing else left to do at this point. All right, Christopher Cools, my friend, my high school buddy. I have a 36-volt golf cart designed by Tesla, but the navigation system is only engaged and becomes active after the inverter hits 48 volts. Once I get 48 volts, my flux capacitor begins to overload the batteries, dead short, and Dr. Brown can't hold on any longer and falls off the back tower. Should I get a new golf cart or change my inverter? Change your inverter. I mean, get a new golf cart, but definitely change your inverter. I mean, yeah. Yeah, it's just, yeah, it's changing inverter.
Did you answer Ryan's question? Looking for a 50 x 4 or
no.
so. All right, so I'm looking for a small 50 times 4 or so amplifier to hide behind. Totally lost it.
That's okay, I get it.
All right. To hide behind the glove box.
So we got a couple to choose from. Obviously, the one we just showed you, the Sound Digital, would work. You also have a kicker key.
Kicker key, yeah.
Um,
The 204. I'm sorry.
I have no idea what we did with the kicker key. That's not it. We got a lot of empty boxes here. We need to go through this, I think.
Yeah.
I don't. Here it is. Jesus. Snake would have bit me. So Rockford makes this right here, which is the punch. The punch. This is the PBR 404. The kicker key is the 200.4. It's probably up there.
Yeah.
That's okay. Don't worry about it.
No, but I was.
But the kicker key is a smaller footprint. So there's and then sorry, you have the ACM.
And you have the ACM
400,
amplifiers.
4.300. So there's a ton of small amplifiers, and I'm going to tell you right now, they're all great. So pick one.
Now, if you actually want an amplifier with the radio, Alpine makes the.
Ooh, yeah. They have the amplifiers now.
650 and the.
The 650s is.
Well, yeah, but like.
But
they have the
amplifiers,
amplifier.
they still make the amplifier. So
yeah.
The Alpine also make, not the brick, the new 400 that they make. So there's a lot. Dodge Viper installed a complete system and needs more bass. Yes. We know. It was,
Dodge Viper.
It's kind of, we know that.
Yeah.
Sound Digital goes in the Camaro now. No. Probably. I mean, maybe. I don't know. I mean, right now JBL needs to go into the Camaro, but we'll see how that goes.
Dean.
Yes.
Is there any way to delay the auto turn off on the stereo in the newer vehicles?
How so? I guess would be the question.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, how so? I mean, we want the radio and the dash to stay on longer? No. If we're trying to, I mean, if you hook up amplifiers, it's going to use DC offset. It's going to stay on for up to a minute and a half, 3 minutes anyways. So, I don't, yeah.
And what kind? You know,
I would need more information on that one, I feel. Because the problem is most new cars don't even use an accessory wire. So it's not like you can put an accessory delay in there like a TR12 that, once it senses and then it just stays on for 5 minutes and shuts off. That doesn't happen.
I will be installing a Rockford Fosgate BP4NT horn tweeter in my dash on the 2018 Silverado Crew Cab. This is gonna be a straight fed, or will need a special bracket?
You're gonna need some
it's gonna
brackets.
be more than a bracket.
Yeah, that's a.
Well, I mean, keep in mind, you just gotta. I actually don't know how.
That's pretty big.
Like deep is the tweeter, but you gotta see, and the dash is like this much.
Yeah, it's like 2.5 inches.
Yeah, it's not that much.
You'll have fun. So I can't use time alignment in the Simic I'm running active. There again, it all depends on how you've integrated into it. So if you summed any of the channels together, you have more problems than time alignment. You can if you integrate into it properly. So like if you go with the Metro piece as a preamp into your DSP, or use it as a DSP, whichever you want, then you can do anything you want. But if you're trying to get the signal out of the factory amplifier, it is already time delayed. So there's actually no reason to do it. It's already done. All you have to do is EQ it at that point, because the factory already added in that. So there's no reason to delay a delay. It's not going to accomplish anything.
2017 Optima LX. Install components without the crossovers, or should I take them out? Without the crossovers or with the crossovers? I think if you have the components that come with the crossovers.
Well,
gotta use the crossovers.
I think what he's getting at is that okay. I think what he's trying to figure out is if he's taking tweeters out and putting tweeters in, taking mid-range out, putting mid-range in, does he need to run the crossovers?
Right.
And the answer is it depends. Because, for example, if the mid-bass in the door and the tweeter are on the same line, meaning it's just a wire that comes in here and a wire that goes up there, and the factory tweeter has a little bass blocker on it, or there's a little bass blocker down the line, yeah, you're going to have to use your passive crossovers because that's the crossover for that tweeter, and the mid-range in the door just naturally rolls off. So it is not, it's using the natural roll-off point as the crossover. A lot of speakers do that.
Yeah.
So there is no crossover at all in there. It's just there. Now, if it's an amplified system and the tweeters are on channel 1 and 2 and the mid-range are on channels 1 and 2 and you can see what's going on, then yeah, you might be okay running it, your tweeter, your mid-range, and leaving the passive crossovers out. Yeah, however, without knowing what the crossover point is on that, it could be lower than what your new tweeter is going to play. Having a speaker that has a biamp capability, meaning 2 inputs, 2 outputs, is something to think about. So there's a lot of gray area in that question that you can't just say, yeah, do it. No, because
you got to do a little bit more research.
Yeah, you have to figure out what's happening there.
Yeah.
But my guess is you're going to need the passive crossover.
Oh, totally. On the 2020 Dodge Charger with the Alpine system, are the front door speakers full range? No. They're the subs. That's a 6x9 subwoofer.
On the Viper, really no comment, no solutions. No, there is no easy solution to get sound, more bass into that car without rebuilding the whole back panel and putting a bigger driver in there. There's not much you can do. That's just what it is. So, I mean, I don't have a magical or a better solution. It's a small 6-inch driver in there that doesn't put out a lot of bass. It needs more bass. It's convertible. It's just going to get lost. If you build something into the passenger footwell, which sometimes you can do, you're going to lose foot space there, but you'll get more bass. So if you don't mind the passengers sitting straight up with their knees on the dash and the feet straight down, that's an option. But there's that has been the problem with that car since it's been invented. There's just no great way to put bass. You can't put bass in the back of the car because it's a sealed compartment that doesn't vent through into the car at all. So it's just what it is. I mean,
so far in this car, I want to use a passive instead, and the mid-range and tweeter I already flip. Do I have to flip the polarity on any of them, or how do I work this without buying the Metrapiece so I can sum them somehow?
You can't. You can't
Yeah.
Because you can't get past the all-pass filter with the processor that you have. The all-pass filter is phase inversion at a specific frequency. The DM810 doesn't have the ability to go in and fix that, so there's no way for you to do it. If there was, I would tell you. I'm not lying. I'm not going to make it difficult for you. But the DM608 just is. It's not the tool for that. It doesn't have the inputs. I think the DM608 you can split out 5 and 6 or 3 and 4. But either way, if you can use all. Hold on, let me see if I can look that up here.
Yes, the Kenwood for this Porsche is gonna have Apple CarPlay.
Yep.
It's the DMX47S.
DM608, yes.
Alright.
So on the DM608, if you ran the tweeters into channel 1 and 2, your center channel into 3, your subwoofer into 4, and your mid-bass into 5 and 6, and then gave powered outputs to, meaning run the tweeters on their own amplifier, run the mid-range on their own amplifier, and of course amplify the center channel, which you have, unless you're just going to use that, not integrate into it. The reason why you got to keep the center channels for navigation and Bluetooth. But if you just want the radio or the amplifier, the factory amplifier to power that, then what you really need to concentrate on is getting the tweeters on their own amplifier, getting the mid-range on their own amplifier. You're not going to be able to sum those. It's just not going to happen. You can flip the polarities all you want. It's not going to fix anything.
All right.
What zero gauge wire would you recommend for 2 amp setup? Wattage between both amps would be around 3,000 watts. I mean, good.
It's like
a good OFC 6,
zero gauge.
Zero gauge. I mean, we use Stinger.
We use that's it.
But
That's what we're gonna use.
There's plenty of people. Okay. Head over to Hi-Fi Vegas channel on YouTube. He just did a power wire review. He took like 10 different power wires and went through them all. So head over to Hi-Fi Vegas channel and catch that video and see what he recommends.
Okay.
Well, there you go. Do a little research, figure out what you like.
Perfect. Let's see.
Do you have a source for the Viper? I'm trying to think of who could do the Viper build the box. I don't know if SRQ. Yeah, in Florida. I don't know if SRQ still does that stuff. SRQ in Sarasota. They might have a footwell box for that.
I don't know if Donnie can do that.
No, he got no time for that. Check out SRQ in Sarasota. See if they may have a box for the footwell on that. And then it'd just be a matter of moving the power wire over from the center channels from the 6-inch sub to the footwell.
Yeah.
What's your favorite DSP to work with? Whichever one I'm playing with at the time. For me, it's just a DSP. It's just fun to have DSP. It's fun to do things with the DSP. Each DSP has a lot of cool things to play with. You control your output with the DSP. I mean, you can have lots of fun and do neat things and just make cars sound good. So pick one except for the Dayton and rock on.
Dean just received his Pioneer from the giveaway.
Perfect.
Awesome. Do you have any recommendations for speaker adapters for the doors and a 2002 Civic Coupe?
Ooh.
I don't
think they make any for that one.
I also will keep the Kicker Key 200.
Yeah, it'll work on 300 speakers. Yeah.
Check.
Yeah, it will.
This is 2002.
I think that's the one where it's incorporated into the door. Yeah. I don't think there is a panel for it. If there is a panel for that,
it gotta be.
Both Metra and PAC make the only panels that are available for it. So if it's not one of those, and there isn't one.
Now, in some of these Civics, actually, the speaker comes out, has four screws. Take it out, and the bracket's still inside.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna put a bigger speaker with a bigger magnet, you gotta take the bracket out, and you gotta make yours and cut the size and all the
Quality of the Stinger High 10 for Jeep Gladiator. Well, I tell you right now, it's the only one that's going to retain your factory backup camera. Those particular vehicles have a high-res backup camera that no one makes an adapter for, but because PAC and Stinger are both Amp Global, the same companies, they've made an adapter for it that interfaces with the High 10 to use the HDMI input to feed in the high-res camera. So yeah, it's pretty cool. There's no doubt about it.
Steve says that Metra makes adapters for that. So hey, check Metra.
MetraOnline.com, and you can find what you need there.
Thank you, Steve. 2015 Sierra with the LC7i installed chime. It's amplified and too loud. Any way to fix it?
Since you already have that, what I would recommend doing is there is the one workaround.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Lázaro.
Here's what there's a couple options you could do. One, don't use an LC7i and upgrade to like a DSR1 with the DGM3 harness. That'll give you chime control through data. You'll be able to actually control the chime. Now, in lieu of that, you want to keep your LC7i. What you're going to need to do is use the rear speaker inputs only. Mm-hmm. So take the front that you're running into it, disconnect those in the LC7i, and use the rear outputs from the radio to power everything. Then what you're going to do is you're going to fade it all the way to the rear on the radio, which is fine because everything will work according to what it needs to do. Next, you're going to take one of the speakers that you took out of the car, preferably like a 6.5 or one of the 3.5s out of the dash, and you're going to hook the driver's front speaker wire up to that speaker, and you're going to mount it up in the dash facing down. What's going to happen is because you faded it to the rear, you're going to get no audio out of that from music and stuff like that. However, all your Bluetooth calling, your door chimes, and all that stuff are now going to come out of that speaker only, and it's going to be powered off of the factory radio, so it's not going to be, it's not going to be really loud. The only other option to do, aside from that, is there again, if you had an EQ, you could put a dip on that frequency that makes the chime and
like
turn
dip.
and turn it down. With just the LC7i though, the relocating of the speaker into the dash is probably going to be your best option, and that will solve the problem, and it will sound the same. There's very little difference between the front and rear on that one. So we've done them. That's what we used to do before we had the solutions that were available to us now. It's a 2015 Sierra. So if you want to fix the problem, like I said, you can do the DSR1 with the DGM3, and or you can go with the Amp Pro Flick Dip Switch number 3, which is not in the instruction manuals, and you will get a full preamp section at that point out of your factory radio using the most bus signal, and life will be great.
Do you reply to Steve? I'm pro to the D6 1200 and Nambo Silverado. Radio is really loud, but all the other stores are not.
As loud. What am I doing wrong?
What do I do wrong?
So did you flick dip switch number 3 is really the thing. The tuner in that is the problem. And when you're using the Amp Pro in the Chevy that doesn't have Bose, is the tuner causes all the issues. So there's nothing you can really do per se. As long as all the dip switches are set properly and you've put up dip switch 3, which there again you only have to do dip switch 3 if tuner left and tuner, if you don't get tuner left and right. If you plug it in without dip switch 3 on and you get left and right on the tuner, then actually leave it off. But there is no source tone adjust control in the unit itself. Plus, you might want to check the radio, what's coming out of the radio, because they don't change the voltage for the outputs between sources. So I don't know if that has any source tone adjust control in it.
I don't think so. That's weird.
No, I mean in the factory radio.
Right, yeah.
The Amp Pro doesn't. It doesn't regulate that. Because it's just a fixed signal coming over the most bus into the unit, so it shouldn't vary. Rancher blue cheese with chicken wings. I don't eat chicken wings anymore because doctors suck. Fernando likes them naked.
Yes, I did.
But when I did eat chicken wings, I was a ranch guy. Because that's what Haley always had sitting on the table. Because, you live with 2 women, there's ranch everywhere.
Have a great night, guys.
That means it's the end of the show.
Thank you, Jason.
Keeper of the Time, Mr. Jason, has notified us of such a thing. So what do you do at the end of the show? Well, first off, we'd like to thank you for coming back and enjoying and asking a bunch of questions because, hey, it's a Q&A show, apparently. Dean and Fernando's Tool Drawer. DNFToolDrawer.com is a place you can go and find all the cool tools that we use for everything. And this was the 12 Days of Christmas. I have to remove it because Christmas is over. I forgot all about that, not going to lie. You can also head over to teespring.com/store/5star where you can find all the cool t-shirts and hoodies and all that fun stuff that is available to you. If you're a fan of Fernando's, you can pick up the Vote for Fernando shirt, as well as any of the new, hoodies that we have available to you. If you like the Clean Wire Club, we also have a 12-volt Clean Wire Club shirt available in multiple colors.
Yeah.
So that's it, guys. That's the show. That's an hour. That's the fun that we've had. Can you believe it? Did you miss it? Are you glad to be back?
I never left. Always here.
I meant the show. We got the new chairs, so there you go. Lots of fun there. All right, guys, you have a great rest of your week. See you guys on Saturday. Yes, YouTube on Saturday as usual. And, of course, make sure Friday mornings on Dean and Fernando's Car Stereo Clips, the YouTube channel where we will be doing news. And, of course, we have I Ask a Disc to give away. So back to that, we'll be giving 1 disc away for a question that Fernando comes up with somewhere during the show. So lots of fun there. Make sure you tune in. It's a half-hour show Friday mornings at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And, of course, you can find us daily where we update you on what's going on in the Bay over on Instagram at the 5-Star Car Stereo channel. That's it, guys. You have a wonderful week. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.